that Raw doesn't know it yet, but he's about to get harassed by a giant rock biter for the rest of the match. Hey, what's up you guys, it's StrangeLuv here, and for this Smite gameplay I'm playing as the manly, molten monolith known as GEB, God of Earth. And right off the bat at the beginning of the match, I've already got my first kill on an enemy molten GEB, and this is a pretty awesome skin by the way, very lava-licious, and his normal skin is actually a lot more earthy looking, you know, it has a lot of plants, greenery, and of course the obelisks on his shoulders, which people have pointed out look like middle fingers, which I completely agree with. But for this gameplay, I'm going to give you sort of a play-by-play of what's going on for this whole match, and I'm playing on the brand new arena that they added during this last patch along with GEB. It's this nighttime arena mode and it's just very sexy looking. I love it. I love the different shades that they use for the colors, and they also added another new feature called the Manticore, and I will get to that later when the Manticore arrives. But basically there's going to be two arena maps that interchange whenever you play arena. It will either be the regular original one in the daytime or it'll be the nighttime map. Once again, I'm plowing into my buddy Raw over here. He seems to have hit the wall and gets away, which is too bad, but throughout the gameplay it looks like I'm kind of targeting Raw, which I didn't mean to do, but it was just so tempting trying to go after him because he kept overextending to our side and he didn't really have a whole lot of protections up, so I kind of made him my goal to plow into Raw a few times, and right here I go after Raw once again, try to get a few hits on him, and he blinks me, and looks like Loki got the kill there, and that's okay, as long as it was a group effort and somebody got Raw. It all turned out for the best. Now, a lot of people play GEB as a tank because, of course, he's a guardian and he has very high sustain, but for this game I decided to try and make him a little bit more damage heavy. Not a whole lot, but I just wanted to see if it would make a difference. Now, right here, I tried going after Hades, and he just has a little sliver of life. Can I catch up to him? I'm just not fast enough. And so I throw up my stone shield, try to hit him with a shockwave, and it just doesn't reach. So I decided to back up, and I see another little twin GEB over here trying to get me. So I'm gonna roll out of there, and oh, hey Raw, wanna get stoned? Let me help you out there, buddy. I figure now's a good time to use my ultimate, Cataclysm, and I throw out one last shockwave to finish off good old Raw. You know, at this point I start to feel pretty bad for Raw just because I've been pummeling him up to this point throughout the match, and it doesn't seem like there's much he could do about it. Now, like I was saying earlier, GEB is a guardian, so he has really high defense, and that makes him really good at pushing the enemies back, which is what I'm sort of trying to do in this gameplay. I'm trying to keep everybody on their side of the map and sort of defend my teammates a little bit more, and once again I meet up with this enemy Hades, and I just can't quite kill him. He just barely gets away, but that's alright. So because GEB is such a great pusher, he's actually really good for things like Conquest and Joust. If you pair him up with somebody on a lane, he could really keep the enemies at bay while your teammate can go ahead and try to do the damage, unless you try to do a more damage-heavy Guardian. So he's really good for that. I know a lot of people play him as a tank, but for this match, I tried to go a little bit more damage heavy. Not too much, you know, I wasn't really counter building so much as I wanted to stay a little bit more on the defensive side, but I wanted to see if adding power to his build would make a difference, especially because his shockwave ability takes about 50% of his magical power and applies it, so I wanted to see if that would change at all, and it actually does. And the final build that I have for this match is the Reinforced Greaves, Mystical Mark, Void Stone, just so I could have some protection and penetration for magic, the Rod of Tahuti, and that's where my power is coming from, the Telekeen's Rings, which adds a little bit of magical power as well as defense, and Sovereignty, because they had a couple physicals that I was trying to defend against as well. Now, as you can see right there, I'm not always the most accurate person when using GEB's rollout ability. I usually roll right toward enemies thinking I'm gonna hit them, and then I end up missing, and then I just gotta roll around the map until my ability runs out, or if I just right-click off of it. But it's still pretty fun to do, nevertheless. But overall, I really like how GEB turned out. I think he has a really awesome design, and you know how he looks reminds me of the Corrupted Custodians from Darksiders 2, so I gotta give him props for that. And I also think his abilities fit him really well. They make sense. I don't think any of them are really that overpowered. It just depends on how well you're able to use them, so we'll see in the future. And right here, I'm going up against Hades once again. What are you gonna do, Hades? You're really gonna try to kill me with your ult? I don't think so. Now let's go back and talk about GEB's abilities for a second, because right up here I have a perfect example of when and how to use his stone shield. Now I just plowed into the enemy team, I turn around and see that my teammate Poseidon needs some help, I throw up the stone shield right as Ra decides to use his ultimate Searing Pain, saving Poseidon's ass. You're welcome, bro. Just kidding, I don't need to be thanked, but it doesn't hurt once in a while. And I'm feeling pretty bad that Ra failed his ultimate, so I go over there to put him out of his misery. I roll on over, use pretty much everything I had, throw up my ultimate, throw out a shockwave, and finally get the kill on Ra somehow. I think it was actually because of the mystical mark. I might have got that last little distance hit on him with my aura, so that's pretty awesome. Now I see Neja is over here tormenting my allies close to our base, so I try to help out a little bit. Can I get the kill? Oh, nope, it goes to somebody else, but that's okay as long as somebody got little Neja. And that last kill actually resulted in the spawning of a friendly Manticore, and lo and behold, the enemy team also has their Manticore out on the field. Now the Manticore is an NPC that they added along with this new arena map, and the way it works is for every 10 kills that a team gets, a Manticore will spawn for that team. And what you have to do is try and escort the Manticore over to the enemy's base in through the portal. A lot like the minions, basically. So I believe the Manticore counts for about 10 points off of the enemy's team if you successfully escort it to the enemy's base. And right here I was successfully able to take out the enemy Manticore, saving our team from losing another 10 points. Skipping ahead here, I see an opportunity to take out the enemy Loki, who's apparently really bothering one of my teammates. So I roll in there, body slam the guy, use my ultimate, and combine it with a shockwave to finish him off, which is a pretty nice combination. And at this point in the game, I'm just trying to sort of defend my teammates, trying to get the enemies off of them. And of course, I gotta body slam Hades for good measure. His time will come soon enough. Now right here I'm going to back up and throw the stone shield on myself to try and recuperate for a second before helping out anybody else on my team. Then I look around and see that my teammate Poseidon is getting harassed by my good buddy Ra and of course the enemy GEB on the other team. So to try and help him out, I wait for my stone shield to come back up. I throw it on Poseidon, but in a failed attempt I accidentally throw it on Neith. And I could not save Poseidon, he ends up getting taken out. But instead, I go and chase the enemy GEB, throw up my ult, and I'm able to take him out with my shockwave. So, even though I wasn't able to save Poseidon, I was at least able to avenge my teammate's death by taking out the enemy GEB with a little GEB on GEB action. And I think if you're playing as a Guardian or a more tanky role, you should be going after the enemy team's Guardian as well, since you're more equipped to do so. So it's better that I went for GEB rather than having my teammates die in the process of trying to take out a really tanky Guardian. Now right here, once again, we've got a pair of Manticores out on the field. I try and save our friendly Manticore, but it seems like he's pretty much a lost cause at this point. He gets taken out by the enemy Loki pretty quickly, so I'm gonna go and try to take out the enemy Manticore who is almost at our portal. I throw up a stone shield on myself. In a last-ditch attempt to try and fight off this enemy Neja and GEB, Zeus comes in at the last second, but he's a little too late. I end up getting killed, and I think the Manticore went in the portal, so that's a little too bad. I wish there was a little more teamwork going on there, but you can't win them all. Can't say I didn't try either. Skipping ahead here, I see a chance to exact vengeance on that enemy Neja, and it looks like Loki's gonna get the kill instead, but it's okay because I see my buddy Ra playing paparazzi over here, so I throw him a shockwave to ride back to base on, and it looks like it's super effective, especially after comboing it with my ultimate. And once again, that Hades just barely evades my reach, and Hades better watch his back because now he's on my hit list. Moving ahead here, I'm once again trying to save my teammate Poseidon from certain doom, but it's to no avail as he is grabbed by Neja's ultimate, which pretty much destroys him, and now it's personal. Get over here. Kablam! That's what you get for taking out my teammates. I see Ra, but he's not looking like he's gonna go down anytime soon, so instead I'm gonna try and get this Hades. Can I reach him? Can I reach him? And another teammate gets the kill, which is alright, as long as somebody took him out. Watch out, Hades, I still got my eye on you. So now I'm just gonna roll out and try to take out some enemy minions, and in the process completely miss all of the enemy team, because you know, that's just how I roll. And what is this? I hear a Loki on Loki battle going on, so I throw up a clutch stone shield at the last second, saving my teammate and helping him secure the kill. And that, my friends, is how GEB supports his teammates. And it's even funnier because right here, as I'm trying to torment poor old Ra, I can see my teammate Loki trying to smash out a thank you on the keyboard. So as I'm trying to say you're welcome, I end up getting hit by Ra's Celestial Beam, but you know, it doesn't kill me because he can't handle all this awesomeness. I'm just cool like that. Moving ahead, now we're in the final stretch of the match and everything is getting pretty intense because the teams are neck and neck and it could go either way. And then right here, I'm pitted against my all-time nemesis, Hades, who sucks me into his ultimate thinking he could stand up to this molten monolith. But he's not getting away this time. I finally get to kill Hades. I told him it was coming, but he didn't want to listen. And I actually think that it wasn't my basic attack that killed him. I think it was the mystical mark item that I have on, since it emits a damage aura around you. I think that's what just barely touched him at the last second, because he was a little bit too far for my basic attack, but it might have been my basic. But either way, I'm happy that I finally got to kill Hades. I can finish this match feeling satisfied. Now, as the game wraps up here, I want to give some final impressions of GEB, the God of Earth. I'm really enjoying playing as GEB, and I think that even though his character is a guardian and is meant to be more tanky, I think he really benefits from adding a little bit of power to his build, especially if you're playing Arena, but GEB is particularly useful if you're using him on Conquest or Joust to help push the enemies down a lane and keep the enemies at bay. Also, if you do end up using GEB more offensively and building a more damage-heavy build, just keep in mind that he is meant to be a support character, of course, so you should still be playing that supportive role for all your teammates. Just keep an eye out for when your teammates have really low health and try to do that clutch stone shield like I showed you earlier in the gameplay, and your teammates will thank you a million times for it. And I can attest to that. I've had a GEB on my team that saved my ass many times. So, in this gameplay, it looks like we're about to win, at least I think we are, but then at the last second, Neith goes down, and we end up losing. But it's okay because that match was a really good match, very balanced, and we were just head-to-head the entire time. So I felt this was a pretty good match, and I hope you guys had as much fun watching this gameplay as I had making it. And let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see more commentaries in this sort of play-by-play style that I did here, and I will see what I can do. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Stay strange, my loves, and until next time, this is StrangeLuv signing out.